What's going on, traders? Sorry about a little bit of a late start here. Having some issues with my camera. You guys can see the little black line and bottom line there, but it's all good. Guess what? I'm more focused on the market here, trying to make some trades like always, team. Let's talk about the swing trading action today. A lot of green on the tape here, so not a bad day for me. Even though a lot of people probably struggling on a day like today, I got to say, at least today, this is a money day. So not going to be mad about that. Let's talk a little bit about the profits and also take a look to see if we can find a little bit of a trade here towards the close. Taking a look at the SQQQQs here to see if I'm going to take a shot here for the downside turn towards the close. I don't think that we're going to get it right now. I think that we could see kind of maybe a little bit of a leak. Let's see if we do get this good leak here towards the end. I'm also keeping an eye on a stock like NVIDIA to see if that cracks. Of course, I've been drawing kind of trend lines all day long to see if it wants a break. It looks like this is holding right now. We'll look to see if we get a little break just coming up right now. All right, guys, so definitely smash the like out there if you guys are ready to have a good stream right here. Start swing trade. Let's get it going. Matt, Raz, EKS, what's going on out there, guys? What are you guys checking out? I see Argo blockchain being mentioned in the chat. I was looking at Riot just before this, thinking about that one too. I think this one has a nice little setup on the hourly. Could make a little bit of a move here towards the close, towards 12. So I could take a trade on this one for a little bit of a move towards 12 here. But let's get to the swing trade talk here. First, I want to talk about Zscaler. This is one that I took all the profits out today, down there towards 144.62 top profits. This one was a really nice trade. Take a look at the daily, guys. This one, we got it up here at in the 155s range, now coming down there all the way towards 145, 144. So 10 points on the victory. We were looking to see if maybe we'd get down there into this box, created this on the 20th. But now you can see, I mean, I didn't want to get too greedy on this one. Wanted to take a really nice winner here in Zscaler to the short side. And another one that we had yesterday that was in the green, that wasn't able to take profits this morning, was spiking up, which was Adobe. And then right at the gates, boom, got the flush down there towards Adobe. As we cracked the 480s, I had to take some profits there. Took some profits at 479.75 down here. And so you guys can see there from 489.34. It was a little bit of a tough kind of move here. This was our entry here. Now you can see that we're coming back down there towards the 480s. Will we continue going lower? I'm holding Adobe, basing that I think we can go lower and maybe crack the 474 mark and get down there towards maybe even 450s. We'll see what happens right now in Adobe. I'm not going to push it too much right now, but I am going to see if I can get a little bit more on this piece. All right, we'll see. Let's talk about the oil trades. Of course, I still got XOM. That bounced back a little bit today. Keeping an eye on this. I think this could fall towards the end of the day. We'll see what happens there on XOM and Chevron. Essentially down on the day, but still big in the green here. Up about 3.82% on ExxonMobil still. And on Chevron, up about 1.98. Of course, I'm pretty far from these entries. So I'm going to look to continue working in my favor. We'll find out if WTI can cross right back down below 69. All right, there. What's going on out there, guys? How we doing? Raz, what happened to AHI tuna? Nope, not a good tuna there, man. It's not blue gold, man. That's what I'd say about it. All right, let's get to the market action. Let's take a look at the SPY. Let's take a look at the Qs. The Qs overall definitely taking a pullback today, kind of rejecting around a similar area. I was looking around the 15-minute mark. You can see kind of we had a little bit of resistance here towards kind of the 364. Let's see if we can recover that 364 here, and then you see a little bit of a push to the upside. This is why I'm not thinking that we just get complete disaster to the downside today. And I do want to kind of update you guys, of course, keep on going with a little bit of some prop action. So we'll see what happens if I'm able to get a little bit of a day trade here towards the close. Of course, we'll take also some swings here as we keep watching this kind of keep moving, because I have a feeling that we could see kind of continued downside action. But take a look at this NVIDIA, man. Look how we're almost right back here. as we came down fast today, man. It was from like 435. I tried to get in there at 435, wasn't able to get a fill. Now we're almost right back to those levels. We'll look to see if we get a hard rejection again on NVIDIA. Take a look at the daily candle now. It looks almost like it never even happened. It's almost right back there towards the highs. So we got to be careful on a name like this to see if it actually wants to crack, or is it just bouncing right back? All right, how risky are Google shorts right now? Well, they're always risky, man. Any short is a risky trade. But at least on Google Trade, you at least know where you kind of crack support. You crack support around the 123s. Maybe you're pulling it down a little bit closer towards 122.69, 122.70 area. Now you're down there towards the 121.60s. I just wouldn't want it to reclaim the support. I'd want it to come right back towards kind of the 50 moving average, which could be a move right back down towards this support around 116.32s. That seems to make sense for me on Google. Is it going to happen? No guarantees, my friend. Like always, we always got to take a gamble when we're taking a shot here. Now, the big thing for me would just be looking at where the levels that I could go off of. You can see we kind of cut down through below that level of that kind of 122.70 area, or maybe you're up there to 122.75. That's what I'd be using as my risk right now to see if it comes right back down towards that 121. This one actually doesn't look too bad there. We'll see if it keeps going lower. Microsoft also, you got a little bounce there to 336. We'll just take another leg lower. We'll just finally crack this supporting trend line, right? Will it crack it right back towards 320s? Something I'm keeping an eye on. Meta today was one that I actually shorted in the kind of the morning and was able to make a little bit of a profit, but you can see it. It's right back up there towards 283s. We'll look to see if it drops off after hours. This is one that I could think about maybe taking a little bit of a swing trade on, but you got to be careful because you're still really close to the highs. And whenever we're shorting off the highs, we really want to pay attention to daily highs to see if we can go off of that level and if it makes sense risk and reward wise to keep coming after this trade. So a perfect example is Meta up here to 285s. I'd have to risk off of maybe the 285s if I wanted to take a swing trade now and see if this is going lower. But to tell you the truth, this isn't showing me the signs that it completely wants to break. And before then, I got to be careful on shorting these monsters. Just like Tesla, right? It comes down fast today, but this could also squeeze right back up there towards 270. So we'll see what happens there on Tesla if it keeps going lower. Definitely having a red day today. Red day all around. Netflix, another one that I was looking at to maybe get short on. Take a look at this daily. Definitely starting to get a little bit of weak, but will this actually turn around? Something that I'm watching. These stocks had continued to be strong, but we got to be careful because they can always turn around and get a nice little rip to the upside. Today, energy is still bouncing back. Industrials is definitely an area that we got to keep it in watch on. Remember, I talked about Honeywell and how I like this 200 area. This is one that I definitely don't want to miss. I continuously see this kind of just stair-stepping its way. It hasn't really kind of cracked down here. I could risk off of maybe the 200, just take it up here towards the 202 spot. It still looks good to me. And one thing that I'd keep in mind is look at General Electric starting to come back here. So I'm keeping an eye on names like this. I like Boeing, maybe catch a little bit of a dip buy. This is pulling back. I'm going to actually look for a little bit lower in Boeing, maybe towards the 206 area, and then catching a little bit of a bounce. Deere having a decent day now towards 417, almost right back towards 420. V bottoms, man, we don't find them too often, but these right back. And so CAT that's lagging a little bit, it still looks good to maybe fill the gap to the upside there after pulling back. Pacar, I saw pretty strong on the day. That's holding a little bit of a pullback here to 78. Can this continue climbing higher? You can see the daily trend there. You can see the little bull flag here. Definitely a nice little bull flag. Will it get that nice little uplift right back towards 79s? Doesn't look too bad right now. Let's go to the hourly chart and take a look here what we're seeing. So you can see how this is kind of holding in here. Will it make that move to 79? Rule of three says up one, down one, up two, down two, up three, down three, could still come right back down and then get that next layer to the upside. So I'm going to look for a little bit more pullback consolidation and then the next move. FedEx definitely got hammered today, and it's getting hammered here towards the close. Is this a sign that we're going to see this come right back down? earlier today, I thought that this could really hold as a 232 resistance. You did wick through there, but man, what a turnaround right off of that 232. Yesterday's price action, it goes right back to it, then gets shorted right into it. Intel, remember I took profits on this one, guys. I'm so happy I took my profits on Intel because it's almost right back towards my entry, which was 31. We got it up there towards 36.50s. Not a bad little profit take through that level. Now we're seeing it come back here towards 33.30s. I'm going to look for this one to come back all the way below 30s if I want to get back into Intel to the upside. All right, let's take a look at some other ones. Let's take a look at the Qs to see how we're bouncing. I'm keeping an eye on the trading action because you guys know me. That's what I am. I'm not just watching the action. I'm trying to trade it too. So you can see here the Qs trying to make that little up move here. We'll look to see if it gets that action, but it's fighting right here around the 364, and we could see it give up and come right back down. NVIDIA still staying strong. That shows me that I don't want to get in front of anything right now. AMD mentioned in the chat. This was one of the favorites, right? We'll see what happens on this one. It is starting to come back towards the 114s, but this one does have a down gap below it, right? It still hasn't gone into that down gap, and you can see how this is getting a little bit weaker. This could fill this gap right here to the downside and then come right back up. So that's about a 108.21 downside action. You can still see about 6 points lower. So we'll find out what happens there on AMD. It's definitely relatively weak in the semiconductor area. We'll see what happens with some of these names. TSM got weak today, but definitely AMD taking it on the hard end right now, because you can see right there, Intel definitely down also 4%. I'm trying to catch like the bigger names that are down 4%. And you can see these are the ones getting hit right now. Intel, AMD, definitely getting wrecked. Micron, this looks interesting right now for maybe a short opportunity because it's definitely weaker and starting to fall off here around the 66.50 area. I'd have to keep it really tight off of like 66.30s, but I could see this drop into 66 right now. We'll see what happens. Let's see if we can take a little bit of a day trade on that action. It doesn't look too bad here to drop from 66 down there towards right there towards like maybe 65.75, especially if the Qs are going to come down here. That could be a shot that we could take here towards the close. Of course, we got about 40 minutes left here. We'll see what happens if this does want to break down. It's still above VWAP, so that's kind of something to keep in mind. But you can see that rejection there from around the 66.36 level. I think that's why we could go right back towards 66 here. So I'd have to risk about maybe 14 cents here for a move down towards 66, which is 20. And then I need at least like 36 cents. So a little bit move back towards the 65.80s. Doesn't look too bad here on Micron to the downside. All right. I can't swing like Mitch. I got 20 cents and I got out. Which one are you talking about? AOK? Which one did you go after? And the truth is for me, swing trading just lets me, right? You know, you're going for 20 cents there. A lot of times I look for bigger moves, right? Right here, it looks like I could go after a 20-cent move, right? I mean, I just talked about it. 22s going to 66. I'm not going to take it because I'm just live here right now, and I want to try to focus on my prop account. Really not take major hits right now, but it does look great there for a little bit of a short, and especially end of the day short. We'll look to see if the Qs come down here right back towards 362. They're just hanging in there. They don't want to get back above that 364 spot. Apple looking like it got back there towards 185. It's been hanging around here, trying to make another up move, but really can't find the drive. I think this is one that we can watch if for any reason the Qs finally do catch another lift and they just start grinding higher to 370s. Watch for Apple to maybe make a move right back through that 187. AI. Let's take a look at that one. That one today definitely got hit. I was talking about this one earlier. As soon as I saw CXAI also taking a beating, I was like, well, maybe they come after AI. Also, you guys can see how that took a hit here. And this could also fade off towards the close too. This also looks like a little setup that I like to use called the VWAP fade fake out, where the stock goes up once above the VWAP, comes back below it, goes again a second time, comes back below it, goes again the third time, comes back, tries to make a breakout to the upside, and then just gets whacked. right back below, let's say the 39.50 area. We'll look to see if it makes a move to 39s here. This is actually one that I can maybe take a shot on just because the risk and reward kind of makes sense here. But you got to be careful on a name like AI. All right, let's see if we can at least just take 100 shares here, have a little bit of fun on this action. I'm going to look to see if it goes back here towards the 78. So we're getting this kind of action. I'm going to try to draw out the trade completely here so you guys understand exactly what I'm talking about. So here's that kind of that up action, down action, right? Up action, down action, up action, down action. So now you're getting that complete kind of built up one, down one, up two, down two, up three, down three. So now it can come and try to break towards the 78 and then just completely wipe out to the downside. We'll see what happens if it just kind of wipes out towards the 39s. I'm going to give it a little bit of a bounce here, try to get it towards the 66 level, and then see if it gets hit here in towards like the 65, 60s, and then just get smacked. We'll see what happens there on AI. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to take a look at what else is going on in the markets. Of course, stocks that's starting to get a little bit of a bounce. This is another way to go about it, right? You guys can see here on the 15-minute and the hourly. I like how this is holding the 9 EMA on pullback. Now looking to take that next step up. The SQQQs could be looking to take another step up here as the Qs go lower and the SQQQs go right back through that kind of 20 level. I also like how this is starting to hold, has made multiple bottoms. So for me, I'd be kind of looking at this to keep a supporting trend line now. It shouldn't break back below kind of the 1978 level if I wanted to go after the SQQQs. That's the way I would look at it now. So let's go back to the AI here. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a pop here above the 939.50s. But I think we're just going to already just start hitting the drop button. I'm going to look for a little bit of a bounce here. I don't want to go after it at 39.40s here, at like chase towards the 30s, even though I'm going to look for a little bit of a bounce. Let's see if I get it here. It's already flushing down, looking for the tiniest bounce to get hit and then go short on AI. And of course, this is in the prop account, and I'll actually show you guys the entry here. Let's put it full screen here so you guys can see a little bit more of it. If you guys need it a little bit bigger, let me know. Just trying to take a look at it here. We'll find out. All right. So you guys see I'm setting up here. You guys see how this is at the 41s, looking to sell about 100 shares there. Probably going to have to market in to try to get in here, but I'm looking for a little bit of a pop above, trying to make a move here towards like kind of the 60s, 50s hit, then like 55s just get wiped out. Then I can come after it. Slower to the trade than faster to the trade is what I'm trying to do here. I'm also going to keep looking at the Qs here. I'm looking at the Qs starting to come down. That shows me a little bit of a weakness. Will NVIDIA show me a little bit of weakness? NVIDIA tries to make another drive to 434. That's kind of the level that I could look at rejecting on now and then sweeping towards 432s. Let's find out what happens there. That's also this chart right here on NVIDIA. We'll look to see if that comes right back down. What do you guys think about the live trading action going on here? Smash the like if you guys are enjoying it. And like always, let me know. What are you guys taking a look at right now for maybe downside action? All right, I see some other stocks being called out in the chat. Of course, energy still in the green. Industrials having a good day. What's getting hit? Technology. I'm just going to look to see if this gets hit a little bit more. You can see that little pullback. Will we cut right back down to the downside? AI here finally getting that little pop here. So we're going to look for that little pop and then rejection, right? Let's see if we can get it here on AI. All right, guys, smash the like out there, team. TFC being mentioned in the chat. Raz says, I'm getting hit. What are you getting hit on, bro? All right, we'll see what happens here. Now we're back there towards the 50s here. Got to also know the risk, right? Definitely don't want to see this kind of squeeze up through that 63, 75 area. So you always know that you're out. Know you're out. Know how much you're risking here. That's always the most important thing. All right, now we're getting towards the 50s. We're trying to make that move back there towards that 63 level. So going to look for a little bit of a tick here towards like 58. Then I can see the flush down coming. All right, trying to go ahead and try to get a little bit of an entry here because this candle is going to close up in just about 2 minutes here on the 5 minute. So I'm giving it about 30 seconds here, trying to let it get closer towards the closing of the 5-minute candle. That's also another important thing. I like to use, like, at this point in time, I'm using kind of more of your 5-minute chart here. And so you can see here how you're kind of rejecting to get back above that VWAP. That looks smart there to kind of hit it there. We'll see if we get it now. All right, about to hit the. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get after it a little bit here. Just got a little bit there. You guys can see it here. I'll show you guys the position there. Got short 100 shares there at 46. So I got 46 there on the downside. We're going to risk it off of the 60. We'll do 68 here. So we're not going to let it get through the 70s here. An easy way to do it, team, right, is especially when I'm live. A trade like this is a fast trade, right? So just want to go ahead and make sure that I have protection set just in case I need it here. So an easy way to do it, I'm just going to go ahead and 39. I said about 70 for it, so I'll put 75 as a protection stop here. I can always cancel it and get out on my own if I need to. But boom, going to go ahead and set that up here. Let me go ahead and make sure that Meta is done there. You're going to look to see if that AI gets hit there. Now we have the stop set. Now we're going to look to see if we come down below the VWAP and start to get hit. All right, so there's the trade plan. Now you guys seen it. Now we're going to get that next candle. Now I'm going to look for maybe a little bit of a wick up, but a quick move down below that low on the last 5-minute candle. The low is 39.31. We'll see what happens. All right, here's that little action here. We'll see if it goes up through that 39.60 level, or does it come right back down through 39.25. Let's take a look at a little peek at the Qs here. You can see how the Qs are going a little bit lower. So that also looks a little bit interesting here. NVIDIA peaks up there to 434s, now coming back down. That looks interesting for me. I'm willing to take a little bit of a shot here, maybe on a little bit of a swing. But the only hard part is just, man, where do you risk off of on NVIDIA? You might have to risk all the way up there to 440s on this chart. That's a little bit too much risk there. That's about 7 points. But then what are you looking on downside? You're looking at 13 points on the downside. So it still kind of makes sense there. It's just hard to take the trade here. We'll see if it falters off. I'm not going to take the swing. Just doesn't make sense to me, too much risk and reward wise. Now you see AI do a little wick up to 39.50s. Now we're going to look for that takedown through the 39s, going down there towards 39. I'll take the profits through that 39 if it goes through it. That's a nice little $50 reward. We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep going. Stocks only go up, says Francis. Well, we'll see what happens today, man. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action and take a look at some stocks. ASTS was one that I was looking at today to see how that would perform. Of course, look at that. Space Mobile getting that huge jump, now pulling back all the way to 630s. We'll look to see if this makes a move tomorrow. Of course, SoFi, it wasn't SoFi that did this. It was SPCE that kind of made that up move, but really quickly right back down today. And so that's where it gets a little bit difficult trading within that range, right? You got to be careful on a stock like that. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other action. Raz says, if you need anything to fall, ask me to long it. Raz, that's how it feels sometimes, man. Don't worry. It happens to the best of us. It even happens to myself sometimes, right? Like that AI trade, did I know it's going down? No, I still don't know it's going down, right? The only thing I can do is take my shot and see what happens, right? Take your shots. That's what we do as traders. We find out what happens later. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other action in the markets. Let's go to the oil stocks. Are those starting to fall off here towards the end? I talked about how these are stocks that I'd look towards a nice little ending red move. And here you guys see it. 104 is starting to reject already. And you're seeing some topping action. Now you're seeing this come down. This is when I normally would come after it. I'm already in a different trade, so I'll focus on the AI trade. But XOM looks interesting here as it's starting to cut through that 104. A lot of the times what I do on this is that I could risk a really tight amount here, like maybe let's say 20 cents. Risk 20 cents for like $1 move because XOM easily moves $1 down. So that doesn't mean too bad for me. What does that leave me? That leaves me with a 4-to-1 trade or a 5-to-1 trade. I'll take that anytime. All right, let's get to some of those stocks you guys are looking at. Palantir very similar move that I would be looking for is a downside action move. Well, why? Because it's still in a bearish pattern on the intraday. Intraday could be a rejection here off the VWAP, rejects right back down and goes below it. But of course, it's still in this pattern too for a recovery back towards the upside. We'll see what happens. I also would draw kind of a trend line here from these levels. And this is kind of the bigger chart. That's going to be your 15-minute looking chart to see if it goes lower right back towards the 450s. Of course, Palantir kind of breaking the trend recently and trying to catch some support around 1423s. There is a gap here to be careful of because you could try to fill that gap before you find support. That's the next move down towards like the 1360s. We'll see what happens there in Palantir. All right, getting a small move there in AI. It went right back down to that support. Didn't break it though. 39.31s went to 39.31s. Can we break the 39.31 now and keep going lower? Taking the shot, right? There you guys see the stock here. Now we're getting into the green. I'll show you guys that right now as we're in the position now up a little bit. We'll look to see if this can get back through that 39 and go a little lower. All right, let's see if the Qs really start to break here towards the close. And there you guys see it now starting to get that downturn in the Qs here. Can we go ahead and see this really get smacked here? SQQQs going higher towards the 20s. Maybe taking a shot on the SQQQs overnight doesn't seem too bad for me. I could also take shots on kind of shorts like NVIDIA. That's already starting to break down here. The only thing is it's hard to risk on NVIDIA right now. If I did come after it, I'd go after it with such a small amount. And that's the thing that I have to keep in mind if I did want to get after a name like this. Adobe is one that I'm going to be looking for it to go lower. That's one I still have that I could take a shot on. Meta is one that I'm thinking about taking a shot on. I just got a risk off of kind of like the 284 level. And did we see a top in Meta already? That's where I get a little bit scared in a name like Meta because I feel like it could come back at any point. I'm going to wait a little bit on these swing trades because it is that turn type of day, but also we could see any type of upside action come right back into these names. Cisco coming right back down. CRM is one that I was looking at that was strong, now really starting to break. Netflix was really strong too. That one is starting to break here. 5 minute coming right back down. And that Palantir chart that I just showed now starting to crack here towards the 79s. We'll look to see if that can go lower. It looks like it wants to crack here, but keep an eye on it, team. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some other ones. AVGO, another one that was going and riding higher, now looks like it's really starting to break back down. And you got to be careful on a name like huge run recently. And it's trying to hold the 9 EMA. Maybe that holds, and maybe that's something that you can use the risk off of. I have a low here about 847. So maybe it holds 850, 847, 845s, and it catches a little bit of a bounce there. But other than that, I think if it lets go there, the next level down could easily be right back down here towards like 820s. So you got to be careful on a stock like this. ASST popping. $2 stock, getting a nice little lift there toward the 270s. Next stop for it seems like logically 3. It's at 270. We'll see if it keeps going. How long are you planning to hold AI before covering? Well, my idea would be for the cut down through the 39s, right? At least to make about 50 bucks on the trade. And you can see here on AI, it's right now at 39.23s, made a cut down to 39.10s. So we almost got that profit already. Let's see if we can get it here through the 39s and just take the profits and run. Of course, I'm not going to push it too much through that 39. I just want to see if we can do a little bit of a wick through that 39. And if we do, I'll take the money and run. Let's see what happens here, guys. It's starting to get down there. Let's see if we can get this move. All right, 39.15 starting to show up here. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a smack through the 39s on AI. All right, I'll also be looking for other stocks to kind of go lower here. The Qs can look for NVIDIA to go lower here. So what I'll do for us is I'll put this full screen here. You guys smash the like out there. I'm going to go to the 3 chart outlook here too. So you guys can see the Qs kind of breaking on the MACD, starting to go down. I've talked about the MACD just recently on our book club. Look at the SQQQs now really starting to push. SOX S is one that I'll also show here. Let's do NVIDIA in the middle too. NVIDIA could be a really good stock to have in the middle here to show that kind of crack. And I drew this long trend line, right? And then been drawing it up to see if we'd ever break it. Well, there it goes through the 431s. Now the Q's going lower. Let's see if we get this AI move through the 39s now. 39.10 showing up, 39.08, 39.07, 39.05. Can I just break the 39s here and take the money and run? Let's see if we get it here, team. There's the Q's going lower here. NVIDIA going lower. Everything looking good for me, at least on the short side of things. We'll look for also oil to come right back down. Maybe I even get into the green for the day. Still slightly down for the day, but looking at that. There's 39 showing up on the bid. Let's see if we can break it really quickly here, and then I'll take some profits. All right, on the bid here, still 39, 39.01s here. Can I get it? A little break here? Break the 39s. There we go. All right, guys, just took the profits there. Oh, actually, I kind of hit the wrong button there. Got to cover up very quickly. You guys see it there. Got to sometimes really catch that up. So there you guys have it. Filled out there. Took about $50 there. About 26, 27 there. Not too bad. Can't be mad about that one. Nice little profits there on AI. And can't be mad. Just continuing to kind of work my way up on the day. Nice little $50 trade there. And you guys saw it live, taken right here on, of course, Start Swing Trade. If you guys want to check out Trade the Pool, what I'm trading right now, take a look at the description below, and you guys could be trading with the same account. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action in the market. Let's go back to the main charts. Let's get back to my screen here and pull this down here. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look as that trade. We'll look to see if it continues. I think it could continue, but the truth is, me live here, it's a lot easier for me to go ahead and focus on a trade like that, but I'll just take too much attention away from you guys. So let's get back to the action. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Let's see if it goes lower. You're starting to really see that break. That's why I'm feeling good about Adobe a little bit later today. We'll look to see if that can keep going lower and just keep cracking down. That one I have from 49, so I'm not going to be mad about that. Bosick making some comments. I'm seeing here, I'm getting a little bit of an alert there. I know we're getting some Fed comments probably coming in right now, and that might be why the SPY is getting a little bit lower. He's also said to speak there towards 4 o'clock, so look to see some headlines coming in with that. We'll see if we still see some tech takedown. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on here. Can it break through that low, the 435? Just did see a little bit of a bounce there from the SPY. Let's go to the Qs. The Qs now bouncing a little bit here. I don't think we're going to just see a complete disaster ending here. Of course, it could happen, but I don't think they make it that easy for the bears, right? I mean, that's what happens often. They don't make it that easy, team. That's another reason why I took the AI trade off, because I feel like it could bounce right back there to VWAP. So I'm just going to take the trade and run. All right. Appreciate you guys making some comments in the chat. It was a nice little trade there. Can't be mad about that. And how many Fed speakers in 1 week? I mean, they just keep going, man. It's how it goes. A lot of Fed speakers. They just keep going, man. And they're all saying kind of similar things. Inflation's not done. Of course, they're going to continue the battle against inflation. They're going to keep an eye out on to see what happens with the rates. Do they got to continue to raise the rates? Will they leak in and continue to just affect inflation in the right direction? That's what they're hoping happens, that they don't need to raise a little bit more. But of course, they're going to keep it on the timeline, right? So that what? So that you don't think they're going to actually go to a pivot, because I know that there was a lot of people thinking that they were going to go to a pivot. Even the CME Fed tool was saying that it was going to have a pivot this year. That I highly doubt. But one thing we could have, of course, is maybe one more interest rate hike rate. And so this could turn things around, as the Qs and the market overall thought that the pause was set in. And now you're getting more of that conversation that, yes, you could see some more hikes. Bosick doesn't see a rate cut for the most of 2024. My man Nick Brown coming in with it. Of course, we sometimes get reports from him. I'm catching his comments in the chat here for you guys. And I agree. I don't see a rate cut for most of 2024 either. I would see the rate cut maybe coming near the presidential election in 2024. But other than that, I would keep an eye out to see what happens after that, because that's really when you want to go ahead and kind of reignite the economy to make that up move. And that's when I'd be watching for like kind of these EV stories, these thematic stories for longer term investing, like let's say LiDAR plays and things like that. That's why I think 2025 is going to be a massive year that I want to be paying attention to and getting ready. What's going on, Tony? It's good to see you in the chat. We'll see what else is going on. And yes, we get Powell again tomorrow. Who knows if he Powell's this market a little bit further down. But definitely we're seeing a little bit of a leak. Just not a disaster ending, at least for right now. We'll see what happens to Microsoft, Apple, names like that. Apple was really close to the highs. Now look at it. It's falling off really quickly here, right back towards the VWAP. And AI just hanging out here at the 39s, could keep going lower. I'm not going to keep chasing and kind of go after that name. I just wanted to kind of piece out today and just keep it going, right? That's the idea on the day. Not a bad day for me, almost about a $200 day. Just keep going, keep pushing forward. All right, we'll see if NVIDIA really kind of falls off. That's one that I would be looking for a kind of more like faster reaction than, let's say, even the Qs. We'll see what happens there. Hammer talking about some stocks here, MSTR and Mara. Let's go to the crypto trade. Let's see how that one's doing. I was looking at Mara. I was looking at Riot, and I could see these going sideways, but was it going to take that next step forward? It still has yet to take that next step forward and just keeps going and trying, but can't get the lift. How do you know there's a short squeeze happening? Previously, AIs was short squeezed. Well, the truth is there's no real way of knowing if a short squeeze is happening. It's usually more talk that is said. You could know a little bit more by looking into seeing how the short interest is working and seeing if it's going lower or higher. But one thing that's said is just if a stock is highly shorted and it makes a huge run up like AI did, they just say that it was a short squeeze. Was it really a short squeeze? I mean, I don't think there was too many people kind of shorting AI really big, but you never know. That's the truth. You never know who's shorting it, who's going long it. You would have to take a deeper look, of course, but definitely it was kind of like a short squeeze. To me, it was a trend that rode higher. Now you're finally breaking back below the 9 EMA where it got into worrisome last time. And that was when it cut down here into the 31s from around the 34s. So let's keep an eye on it and see if it can recover that 9 EMA. If it can recover back to 41, it won't look too bad. But if it cuts down into 35s, yeah, now you're starting to break patterns here and you could go lower. Someone said they wanted to short AI at 47. Sadly, it's hard to borrow. Yeah, Matt, on this platform here, the prop, I didn't have to worry about that. And that's also played into the factor of why I went after AI. A lot of them are hard to borrow, especially AI that doesn't have a high short or a high short float. So it's going to be a little bit harder to trade. All right, we'll see what else is going on. Maybe you can go about it by looking at puts, but then you got to be careful, of course, for kind of like premium that's put into the stock already. But there's many ways to play the AI play, right? We've seen plenty of these stocks go higher. NVIDIA is the cheaper one. That's what I would take a look at. But hey, that's a whole nother ball game trying to call the turnaround in NVIDIA. I think a lot of people have tried to do that, and very few have succeeded. We'll see what happens there in NVIDIA. It is still just hanging on here. And that's why I didn't think we'd see kind of just destruction here. The Q's kind of slowing down, now starting to come back towards 362. So we could see kind of more of a little bit of an uneasy close here, as that's what we got. We got a downturn in tech. Will we get a continued downturn? Just take a look at it on an hourly basis, right? So we got this first downturn that came into Tuesday, a little bit of a bounce on Tuesday, right back up, and now right back down. Will we get this little bounce now and then eventually take another hit lower through the 360s? That's something that you got to keep an eye out for. If that happens, yeah, I think we start seeing a harder turnaround in names like Nvidia and the high flyers like Tesla, right? High flyers here, definitely turning around. All right, we'll see what else is going on. I got stopped out at NVDS. You taking that in what that's the Nvidia short? Yeah, that's that Nvidia bear outlook there. We'll see what happens to that one. That's a crazy one to take a shot in. I think if I would take a shot in this one, it would just be taking it very small that I could risk off of maybe that 8, but it hasn't never even been to 8. So I'm like risking off of prices that it hasn't been on. A little bit risky for me, but hey, I understand why you took a look at it. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at what other stocks are making a move. It's 348, 349. We're almost there here towards the close. Tell me if you guys have been enjoying the show. Let me know in the chat there. Qs are starting to come back here. Energy is one that I'm going to look to close red here, like actually start pushing down here towards the close. You can see how it's now down towards this 104 spot. Can we get a nice little break here towards 103.50s towards the close? WTI, will it come right back down? That's another thing that I'm looking at it. Right towards the end, it started to tick down here. I'm going to be watching to see if it can get below 72 and 71 tomorrow and really start getting smacked. We'll see what happens there. All right, we ran with SOXS. You got SOXS. That was one that I got into a little bit of a trade on the prop account this morning. Was able to ride on that one from around the 40s up there into the kind of the 70s and 80s. Not looking too bad there for SOXS. It's looking like it wants to get there towards 11. Of course, a lot of semiconductors coming down fast. Micron earlier, it looked like it was kind of a little bit of a leak there. It did get down there to 66. We talked about this one around 66.22s. Would it make that move to 66? It did crack that. Now looking like it wants to go a little bit lower. This is one that I could see starting to break on the daily trend and never really got the run that like Nvidia got, right? Some of these got the lift, but not that type of run. Now you're really starting to see these kind of break. These are the stocks that, since they weren't strong to begin with, like monsters, they're going to just start leaking down, and you got to be careful on those, especially like growth names. So like ARKK, given a hard turnaround today. What are the names that are getting hit the hardest there? We can take a look at that and start to look to see turnarounds. Roblox, perfect example. This started to get strong, looked like it was going to get through 42. Now it's washing all the way down to support. Will it break that 38 support? Keep an eye on that. Palantir, a very good example. DNA gets back to $2. I was talking about it. Would it get to 2? It got to 2. It's just right back down. Zoom Video taking a hit right back down. Roku, that's been strong, now turning right back down. Be careful on these teams. When they get hit wickedly. So like, let's say a Unity, very good stock that will be looked at for probably buy the dip opportunities here off to kind of like the 9 EMA. Will it be able to hold this resistance? I'll show you guys it right now. Like, it's just as simple as this, right? I can erase all drawings here. Take a look at this. You can see how this is trying to hold around the 38 as prior resistance, now acting as support. If it holds at 38, yeah, you're looking good. You crack 38 here, and yeah, you could go back down on Unity. You can see we cracked it just barely today and recovered it. We'll see if we're able to hold on that 38 tomorrow. All right, Coin. What about the Coinbase? Yeah, Coinbase is getting that uplift. We'll see if that one can continue with the noise that we're seeing in Bitcoin going higher, right? Rivian mentioned here. Rivian turning right back down here as it was looking good here and really quickly right back down. So that's where you got to be careful. Even on names like Ford, this looks to me like it wants to get hit too. So Ford came back. Tesla started making its way. Ford is almost at the top of the historical reference on RSI. Ford has a tendency of turning around right around 87 RSI. And take a look here, team. We were right there towards 85.96, 85.26. Now starting to turn around here for the RSI on Ford. I'd keep an eye on it. This is actually one that I'll look at for tomorrow to see if we get a candle back down towards like 13, especially if I see Tesla just fall off the tape, like 250, 240 move. Can't get after that one. Get after some of the laggards. We'll find out. All right, guys, it's about 3:53 here, team. You guys got a couple seconds here to drop in a couple tickers or not. If not, I'll wrap it up for the day, guys. I've had a great day today. It's Wednesday. We still got a lot more for the week here. Like always, stay tuned to, of course, Benzinga and everything that we had today. We had a healthcare conference. So if you guys didn't check that, a virtual conference, definitely you guys can check that out. We did have a great show on live trading. We're going to continue pushing forward. Made a great trade in the Moo account. Going to keep trying to get to the next level. You guys see my little pillow in the back, my moo. We'll see what happens and see if we can keep getting to that next level in trading. Like always, one of the main things is knowing when to hit the gas pedal and knowing when to hit the brake pedal. Today, to me, seemed like a day to hit the gas pedal, but to the downside, we'll see what happens. Be careful out there, shorts. You don't want to get your shorts ripped off, right? We'll see what happens in AI, right back up there towards 39.24s. So not bad about taking a little bit of a quick trade there in AI and just taking the profits. We'll see what happens, team. Keep battling out there. I'm seeing some other names drop in, so I got you guys. Let's go through them. OGN trying to get back up through the 2088s. You can see this kind of like inverse head and shoulders off the bottom. This actually doesn't look too bad as long as it can hold around the 2050 spot. And something that I'd be looking at is you can clearly see kind of like a little bit of a head and shoulders inverse one right here. So this is kind of the neckline. I draw this as the neckline. You can see kind of the head here, the left shoulder, the right shoulder. I'd actually really want this to kind of hold this recent pullback and just start getting up there through 21.25s and closing towards 22 on a big candle. If it can make a big candle up higher out of this doesn't look too bad. The only time I look for inverse head and shoulders is for when I'm looking for a turn off the bottom. And there you see it. Will this work out? I'll keep it really tight. If I was taking this trade, it'd be like off of like 2050s. We'll see if it goes up through that 21. All right, let's keep going to some other names here. Last couple of minutes before the bell. Google being mentioned in the chat. Google being mentioned in the chat. I only trade the Goog really, so I'll just go off of that one. I talked about these levels. Needs to reclaim 123. If not, I think it comes back to the 50 moving average. But let's go to Google. It's very similar, right? It's going to be off the 122 level. And so for me, it needs to reclaim 122 tomorrow to show bullishness. If not, it could go lower, right back down towards like this 116 and then the gap right here. So you can see this gap. I could see it coming back into that gap, eventually right into the moving average right around 115.35 right now. So somewhere into that 115, 116, that's where I could see it kind of falling towards. All right, we'll see what else is going on there. Baba. We'll see what happens there on Baba. And keep me to it, Raz. Like always, man. Let me know. All right, we'll see if Baba goes lower or not here. This looks like it's starting to get hit here. And of course, if text names are going to continue to get hit, I wouldn't expect to see these China names rip off, right? And so that's where it gets a little bit hard. Today, we also saw FXI down. Will this get a little bit of a bounce? I don't know about China stocks. I was watching China stocks today, NIO, XPEV. They looked really good. They had a really good catalyst because of taxes. And so I'm going to keep these on my radar. But right now, they're pulling back. So when we have the next lift, I'll kind of keep an eye out on XPEV. I could see this coming back here towards like maybe 10 and then catching a lift. I'm going to keep an eye on it because the news wasn't bad. You know, more tax credits, things like that. That's how you make people want to have EVs. So I'm going to keep an eye on it right now. These look interesting. XPEV, LI. Will these pull back like LI towards like, let's say 33s? Or maybe even a little bit further down towards like 32s, 30s. Doesn't look too bad. Let's take a look at the weekly. You can see how this was propping up for a nice little move, ran into a little bit of a trend line, and then now starting to turn right back down. So I could see this coming right back into this kind of space here to 31s, 30s, and then trying to catch that lift off right back up towards the upside. So I'm going to look for some pullback, but I'm going to keep these on my radar. These are China EV names. All right, other names mentioned in the chat. UCAR may continue tomorrow. I'll tell you what, this is out of my realm because you just don't have a lot of historical reference. But just keep watch. It did make it kind of an up move, down move, up move, down move, up move. Hasn't really gone through that down move right here. So I'd really want it to hold 761 and 780s. But can it keep going? Yeah, it could keep going. We'll see if it kind of gets that next level up and goes towards 950s, right back up there towards where it was, 10, 12, 13. We'll see. This is not really my stock, or my type of stock, but we'll see what happens there. Tesla down 5%. I thought I'd never see the day of that. Yeah, it could be down further, guys. It could just kind of fall off the tape overnight. It's just way too hard to go after today. I tried to go after it. I might have missed it by one day. That might have been the blow off top that we saw yesterday, and now really starting to take a beating. NVIDIA, very similar stock that might have had that kind of blow off top look, right? I was thinking about taking a shot on this one. You have to risk about 10 points. That's the hard part here. If I did have to risk off of 10 points, how much can I really take? Let's just be honest, team. I probably wouldn't be able to take a lot, right? I'd have to take like very small share size to take a risk like that. Does it look like it makes sense? It does kind of for me, but I'm not going to take it. It's too much of a risk after having some pretty good profits already working in Adobe. I can just let Adobe work more, and that's going to be a big reward for me. So that's what I'm going to look to make my money on. Adobe. I was trying to time Tesla. I was trying to time NVIDIA. Today, I had a really good opportunity off the 435s. Did not take it. Came back to that level and maybe should have taken it. It got close there, 434.67. SQQQ watching. I think that could go higher. And of course, it loves to do it overnight. So we'll see what happens on that one. Next levels for me to watch will be 2050s, of course. This loves to do a little bit of a pullback. So below 20s tomorrow is something I'll be watching for if we're going to have continuation. But remember, the Qs are not also going to just go down every single day and without a little bit of a bounce. You could always get wicked bounces in these stocks. And just because we've had a pullback, remember, there's the buy the dip mentality out there and a lot of traders that have missed out on trades. So you can always get a little bit of a whipsaw back to the upside. All right, it's 4 p.m. That's going to do it. Pencils down, smash it up. Never trade with your own money, says Evil. I mean, hey, who would want to do that? Evil, if you got some money to trade with, let me know. We can get after it. All right, let's see what else is going on in the market. Of course, we'll keep watch to see what goes down today. Will we continue going down and leaking overnight? That's something to keep an eye out for. And XOM, hitting a little bit of a down move there towards the close, but not as much as I thought we would. So I'll look to see what happens in oil. Lost 47% of the portfolio. Just got to understand, like always, man, like what is your focus? How much do you want to risk in one day? And remember, as a trader, I always talk about this. It's not, let's not let one day break us, and let's not let one day make us also. So what does that mean? That we don't just put all our eggs in our basket, in one basket, because the truth is any one trade can go wrong. Any one trade can become a loser. So you have to do what? You have to always understand the risk to loss profit ratio. Keeping mathematical probability in your favor is going to definitely help you out, team. We'll see you next time. Smash the like. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Like always, catch me right here, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Start Swing Trade. See you next time, team.